What gives? Oh, check it out. He's buffering.
That's super annoying. He really ought to sign up for GVTC's internet service with SpeedSync. Up to 100 megabits download speed and up to 100 megabits upload speed too.
That's fast. Finally, he'll stop buffering at the worst times.
Call GVTC today for SpeedSync internet service and say bye-bye to buffering. GVTC, just plain smart.
When he's done loading, this is gonna be hilarious.
Welcome to Inside Rangers Football. I'm your host, Brant Freeman. Alongside me is the head coach of Smithson Valley, Larry Hill. The Rangers heading into 27-6A play now with a record of 1-1. The Rangers came up just short of their final non-district game of the season, losing at Round Rock this past Friday, 20-14. Coach, a hard-fought game and really the kind of game that helps get you prepared for the caliber of opponent you're going to play in district coming up here over the next several weeks. What was your takeaway from Friday?
Well, we hope it does. You know, that's certainly why we scheduled the game. You know, if you're going to live in 27-6A, you might as well get used to playing the big boys, and certainly Round Rock qualifies with as that kind of team. The downside is when you play teams like that, not everything's going to go just right, and you learn some things about yourself, good and bad, things that mistakes show up that maybe wouldn't show up against a lower caliber opponent, and we're disappointed. You know, we felt like we fell short as a coaching staff, certainly as the head coach we did, and our performance on the field. At the same time, our kids battled. You know, things were not going well, but still we fought the fight, kept looking for a way, and gave ourselves a chance to win the ball game right at the end. And came up short. We'll make no apologies for that, but I hope, as you said, it's prepared us for what's ahead.
Let's look at the play of your offense from this past Friday. And you look at some of the big plays that you had. We'll take a look at some of them coming up in just a bit. One of them, of course, was your long touchdown pass, the home run play to Edwin Martinez. You had an impressive drive in the fourth quarter, 4 touchdowns that featured some really good throws by Josh Atkins. But 3 turnovers, it's really hard to overcome that. What's your overall assessment of the way that they played?
Well, erratic. You know, we certainly had our moments, and some of them you mentioned, and then we had some 3 and outs, and then we had some self-inflicted wounds with some motion penalties and things of that nature that put you behind the chain, 2nd and long, 3rd and long. Hard to convert against anybody, surely, certainly against a great team, great defensive team like Round Rock. So, you know, we've got to get more in smooth waters and stay on schedule. And again, not always possible. So. If you can't move it, at least give your defense or your punt team a chance to get out there and punt them back and play defense. When you turn it over, you know, you give them the short field and you give them the momentum. So penalties, turnovers, probably the key to the game.
Yeah, you mentioned the short fields, and I look at the play of your defense, and I thought for 48 minutes you played really good defense against a team that had been averaging 33 points a game coming in. But when you give somebody the football around midfield 3 times, which is what happened, it's tough to stop any opponent. What did you think of the play of your defense?
Well, I think overall good, erratic a little bit, just like offense. There were times on key 3rd downs when we've got to make a stop and didn't. Now, Round Rock deserves credit for that, but you know, we've got to do a little bit better job on 3rd down defense and get them off the field. And if we find ourselves up against it, short field for whatever reason, a kick return or a turnover or whatever, then that can't be an alibi. We got to go out there and get a stop and find a way to get the ball back. So, you know, football's a team game, and if one unit's struggling, the other's got to pick it up, or some units got to step up and make a big play and help us overcome some things. And nearly did it, but you know, we're not after nearly did it. We're got to get it done.
Right. Anybody who follows your program or has been inside the field house knows just how much of an emphasis you put on special teams. So looking at the first 2 games of your season, you go back to the opener, you had a couple of returns for touchdowns. This past Friday, you blocked 2 kicks. One of them came at a critical juncture when Round Rock was trying to go up by 2 possessions, and you block a field goal to give the offense a chance late in the fourth quarter. So 2 games now into the season. How do you feel about your special teams?
Well, you know, I've used the word twice, so I'll go ahead and round it out for the 3rd time. Erratic.
Yep.
Erratic, you know. We have had some big returns, as you mentioned. We've had a few block kicks, but we've left some crumbs on the table. We had a return taken away the other night from a penalty, in the kicking game, block in the back, which is the most common kicking game penalty that there is. Our kickoff coverage has been both good and average. We've got to hit our spots with our kick. We've got to get off blocks and make tackles, that sort of thing. Our extra point game was better than the first night. So again, one night's not so good, one night good. So we're just like anything else, we're looking for a smooth, consistent play there. But we do put a lot of emphasis on it, and it needs to be a factor in these games to come. Something
you and I spoke about last week is the fact that this entire non-district schedule against teams out of the Austin area, this is the first time since '07 you have not played a greater San Antonio area team in your non-district schedule. So these last 2 games, though, have also been on the road, long road trips north of I-35. How good will it feel to be back home this Friday?
Well, it'll be nice to play not only at home, but in the future weeks close by. Early season games are good for a lot of reasons. Number one, to get your feet wet and to get through some mistakes like we just talked about in all phases of the game, but then learn how to travel. Learn how to go into a foreign land, if you will, or an unfamiliar stadium, because if you are fortunate enough to get where you want to go, those are the kinds of games you're going to have to play in. You're going to play somebody you hadn't played before, don't know a whole lot about, in a stadium that you've never been at before. Dealing with things that you don't deal with when you're on the home, playing at home, or just taking a 10-minute ride up the road. So, part of that's good for that reason too. Now we got to play well enough for that to be a factor down the road.
Again, Smithson Valley coming up just short this past Friday in a loss to Round Rock, but the Rangers had their share of big plays. So with that, let's take a look at the plays of the week.
Let's take a look. Our first big play is our first offensive touchdown. Eddie Martinez, who's up on the hash mark to the far side with a circle around him, is going to run down and run a post route on the free safety. As the play unfolds, you'll see Eddie leave the screen. We get good pass protection, which we'll see from the backside. Really fine throw from Josh. We beat the safety. Eddie made a nice over-the-shoulder catch, and we get the touchdown and get us going offensively. From the rear, you get a good look at the whole play. As the snap comes to the quarterback, get good protection from our offensive line, making a cup for Josh. You can see the big gap that he's got to stand up there and really get into his throw because of protection. And then there's the deep ball. Eddie's going into the middle of the field on the post. Nice over-the-shoulder catch for the touchdown, gets us started, gets us back in the game after falling behind by 14 points. Our next big play is on defense. We're going to start with our defensive ends, and you can see there's a read sweep play where the quarterback can go up the middle or the wide receiver can run a sweep to the outside. As the play unfolds, you can see our defensive end taking down the sweep threat, making the ball go up inside. We got 1 linebacker, 2 linebackers, a defensive lineman, and a safety that all converge on the play and end up throwing it for a 1-yard loss. Get a real good look at it from the rear. Defensive end, number 42, Alex Flores on the right. He is the first one that's going to get up the field and make the hit on the sweep play. There's Alex hitting him first. Jack Gibbons and others forcing it outside, and then we get 2 converging on the tackle for a 1-yard loss. Really good team defense taking care of all the threats. Our last big play is a special teams play. After their last touchdown, Mason Pierce is who the arrow is pointing down to. You can barely see 19, his jersey there. As the play unfolds, he comes real tight off the outside leg of the wingback, stretches out and blocks the extra point. We were hoping to pick that thing up and run it. You can see Ricky Rios getting a nudge on the safety there. Kept them out of the end, or kept them off the board, gave us a chance to win the ball game at the end. Those are our plays of the week.
And Coach, one of the plays I actually like to talk to you more about, that play defensively that you made to get that stop on that quarterback keeper. Impressive stuff to take away so much of the angles that Mark Reed was trying to take.
Yeah, first you got to take care of the perimeter, and you saw Alex Flores, our junior defensive end, do that and make the ball now get in the quarterback's hands. And then we had our linebackers and then a D lineman just keep taking away the running lane, force it back one more, and then finally our safety and other linebacker combined on the tackle. That's good team defense. It also is a trust factor. I'm going to run to my spot to make the tackle because I trust that everyone else is going to do what they're supposed to do to send it there. Sometimes when you're not playing well defensively, you're a little hesitant because I don't know if the ball's going to get there or not. I better stay right here. And then when the ball does cut, you're not in position. So it's guys understanding their roles and trusting the others are going to do their role.
Well, it was an exciting game for the Rangers, albeit in defeat this past Friday. You can watch the entire replay by logging on to rangersnetwork.com. We're coming up on a break here on Inside Rangers Football. Coming up in just a bit, we have Senior Moments and Little Men. We're back in a moment.
Boy, it doesn't get any better than this.
Ain't that the truth? I'm glad we got a chance to do this with you being so busy with football.
Yeah, and you don't have any free time working on all those people's smiles.
Hey, what do y'all think y'all are doing? You got kids to coach and we have smiles to make.
Cool, right? I can control just about everything in my home from my phone since GVTC installed our Connect Home security system. Whoa, I just got a text that somebody opened my window. I'm setting off the alarm.
Get GVTC security monitoring 24/7 and even control your thermostat, lights, and cameras if you upgrade to our Connect Home system. GVTC, just plain smart.
Welcome back to Inside Rangers Football. Up next, it's time for Senior Moments, and for that, we're going to kick things over to our very own Emily Wick.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Brant. So I'm here with Josh, Brandon, and Chandler. Boys, I'd like you to do me a favor before we get started. I want to make sure your mom knows how much you appreciate her. Get your phones out, text your mama hi, tell her you love her. All right, guys. I am so about teamwork, just like football. So let's see how well y'all can work as a team. I would like y'all to rewrite the song Happy Birthday into a Ranger theme song. Think y'all can do that?
Try. You can try.
Okay. And hit it.
Ranger football, Coach Hill. Ranger football, Coach Hill. We got one simple mission to win on the field.
That was really impressive. Good teamwork, guys. Coach Hill's gonna be pretty impressed. Josh, if a penguin were to just happen to walk in here right now wearing a sombrero, what do you think he'd say to us?
Howdy.
Makes sense. Why do you think he'd say howdy?
He has a sombrero on.
What is a sombrero?
It's a big hat.
Brandon, how many bags of wool did Baba Black Sheep have?
I'd say 17.
17? Try again.
Oh no.
22.
22.
Yeah.
Say it out loud. Do you know the rhyme?
No, ma'am.
You don't know the rhyme?
No.
Guys, can you help out your teammate?
I've never heard of
You don't?
Baba
Black sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full.
So how many bags of wool did Baba
3
Black
bags.
Sheep? 3 bags. That's
Okay,
right.
I got you.
Good job. Chandler,
Yes.
here's the big question of the day. What is your mother's birthday?
June 17th. Wait, hold on. 06-17. Yes, June 17th.
June 17th.
I got it.
Good job.
I did it.
Good job, Chandler.
I got it.
We'll shake you
Love
for
you,
a
Mom.
minute, but good recovery. Good job, Chandler. All right, boys, got a joke for you, and you'll have to laugh. You have to. No, you have to. What kind of exercises do lazy people do?
What kind?
Diddly squats.
Oh man.
So good.
That was pretty good.
Did you hear about the circus fire the other day?
The circus fire? I did not hear about the circus fire.
It was intense.
That's pretty good. If y'all can pull one pro player to play in the next Friday game, who would you pull?
Marshawn Lynch.
Why?
Retired.
He's pretty cool.
Retired.
He's a cool guy.
Oh, no Tom Brady because we'll deflate the balls and win every game.
Yes, that's pretty good. We'll go Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
So Brandon, you play receiver. In 3 words, describe to me your position.
Catch, 0 up.
0 up? What is that?
So what Coach Shen teaches us, the best ability is dependability. That's what he tells us.
Pretty good. Good job, Coach Shen. Okay, guys, I have some more teamwork for you. Together as a group, I would like you to draw me a picture of Coach Hill. Josh, what is that you're writing?
It says bullcorn instead of the other one. Oh, forgot ours.
Forgot ours. I would say that's accurate.
That's bullcorn.
That's bullcorn.
Thanks, guys. Coach, Brant, back to you.
Ranger football, Coach Hill. Ranger football, Coach Hill. We got one simple mission to win on the field.
Well, I guess it's Inside Rangers Football American Idol edition. Coach, you're I guess Simon Cowell in this case. You're the judge here. How would you say they did?
Clever lyrics, good lyrics. Might need some new artists to perform the lyrics.
Right. Execution lacking a little bit. Speaking of execution, let's now take things to our weekly Little Men segment to find out how the Rangers execute some of their plays.
One of the most common passing plays that we have in our offense is a simple catch and release throw by our quarterback on a slant route. If you look at the little men here, if you just look over the defense as a whole, there are certain voids in the defense, and you're usually trying to throw the ball in those voids. One of the most common throws that we take is simply a down and in slant route by our outside receiver, and we throw the ball into this vacated area. Well, obviously, we play some smart teams. They're very aware that this is one of our favorite throws. So, you know, they take steps to stop it. We've got to have counters to their counters, if you will. So we're bringing in Coach Brian Hill today, a former player here at Smithson Valley, one of our coaches, and he's going to talk about the sluggo route. Sluggo, slant and go is a route, slant and go, so we shorten it to sluggo. He's going to take us through some of the particulars and take us through some game film of the sluggo route. So Coach Hill, you take over.
Okay. Out of this particular formation, we have 2 receivers on either side, and so the first and foremost with our innermost man, we want both of those guys to clear out down the middle so that they can hold those safeties there so that they can't get over the top when we do try to throw it deep. Now, like Coach said, we do run a lot of slant routes, okay, so we want to have something that whenever they think that they know what we're doing, we want them to have something to counter that. And so when we do run that route, main thing is to sell it, okay, get down in, make sure you sell it. Quarterback's going to pump fake. Hopefully this corner will drive down on the route in anticipation for trying to cut it off. And then once he does that, then our receiver will slip back outside, and hopefully we can complete a big play down the field.
So the sluggo route, let's go to the game film and see what it looks like. Here's an example of the sluggo route in one of our playoff games a year ago. So Coach Hill, take us through this.
Well, we have the sluggo combination going on both sides. So both wide receivers will, outside wide receivers will fake the slant and go. Both inside receivers will try to hold those safeties, and the quarterback picks what he thinks is his best matchup, whether it's corner leverage or not, or safeties. And as you can see on there, the receiver does a great job of selling the slant, and he's able to get back outside in a great throw by our quarterback. And here in the end zone view, you can see we've got great protection up front. You see the quarterback. A crucial part in it is not just the receiver doing his job of selling the slant, but the quarterback with his pump fake selling it as well. So he buys a little time, and he throws a great ball, and it's a touchdown.
Now here's a little bit different look in another game. We actually just have one receiver down here and two receivers to the top of the screen, three including the tight end. What does a sluggo look like in this particular instance?
Well, we like to sometimes when we don't have to have the routes mirrored, we can have it just called on one side and have a completely different combination going on the other side. And if you see the defense there's that middle safety where he's shaded over, favoring the three wide receiver side, and so our quarterback felt that he wouldn't be able to help on the sluggo. Now, if he had stayed over here below the hash, then we would have played the other side. But in this particular instance, he shaded over, and so our quarterback decided to throw it at the bottom. You see the receiver sell the slant very well, corner bites, and big play.
Let's look at it from the rear.
Again, the quarterback, a major thing is for him to sell it as well. Because a lot of time that cornerback's eyes are on the quarterback as well, and so pump fake coincides with the slant, and then buy a little time and be able to throw it over the top.
The sluggo route, big play for the Rangers in 2015. Hopefully it will be again in 2016. We thank Coach Hill for being on our show today, and now let's move to Ranger Trivia.
This week in Rangers Trivia, this past Friday, quarterback Josh Adkins became the first player in Rangers history to eclipse 5,000 yards passing in his career, doing so on his 63-yard touchdown pass to Edwin Martinez. While Adkins is the only 5,000-yard passer in team history, how many Ranger quarterbacks, including Adkins, have had 4,000 yards passing in their career? Is the answer A, 5, B, 3, or C, 2? The answer is B, 3. The only three quarterbacks in Ranger history with at least 4,000 yards passing are Adkins, Parker McKenzie, and Laren Bybee. So yeah, there you hear the trivia. Of course, big moment for Josh this past Friday to surpass 5,000 yards passing, but you look at the other two quarterbacks on that list, Parker McKenzie, Laren Bybee, not bad company.
No, they're not. You got one that's quarterback in a Division I team right now, and Parker, and of course Laren played at West Point all those years and is now a career Army guy. So he's in pretty elite company as far as character guys as well.
All right, well, coming up next at Inside Rangers Football, we're going to preview Friday's upcoming district opener against Steele, and coming up in just a bit as well, the weekly district picks from Ferris Orthodontics. We are back at Inside Rangers Football in just a moment.
This November, vote for a man who knows how to be an American in America for Americans. Vote for Coach Hill for President of the United States. He's not afraid of anything.
And then the ninjas come out of the forest.
Ninjas?
Who wouldn't vote for a president who had ninjas in their video?
But I don't want to be the president.
But you're from Texas, Coach, and that makes you a shoo-in. I'll make sure to put that in the video.
But it doesn't matter, because I don't want...
I know! We should get John Wayne to be in your video.
John Wayne?
I can hear it now. The new president of the United States of America is...
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I just have to say that if I was president, I couldn't coach football anymore.
Well then, I'm officially resigning as your campaign manager and vice president.
Okay then.
Coach, how tall do you think you have to be to run for president?
This political ad was paid for by Wick Productions. Watching a video is just better than reading stuff.
I'm privileged to work at GVTC, not only to work for a company that provides excellent products and services, but also through the GVTC Foundation to be able to support the communities that we work and live in, serving those communities.
Any individual can donate. We're a nonprofit 501c3, so it's a tax-deductible donation.
That we're on the right track partnering with our communities as we continue to seek ways to grow the GVTC Foundation.
Welcome back to Inside Rangers Football. Coming up Friday, the Rangers kick off 27-6A play against the Steele Knights. Steele comes into this game with a record of 2-1 and really a play or two away from being 3-0. They took Lake Travis to double overtime a couple of weeks ago. Coach, you've had some battles against Steele over the past several years. It's been one of the perennial powers, not just in the greater San Antonio area, but in the state. How does this year's team look?
Well, they're as good as advertised. You know, they've got a lot of talent, speed at every position, very sizable up front on both offensive and defensive lines, and you know, I've got a proud tradition. You know, they won't lack for confidence, and you mentioned it, both within our region and throughout the state, and of course the district. They're one of the ones that are always being talked about.
You look at the quarterback position. Every time we preview an opponent, we want to talk quarterbacks with you. There's this Xavier Martin. You saw him a year ago. Right. Looks even better this year. Already 3 games into the season, over 1,000 total yards of offense. But you played a very athletic dual-threat quarterback last week in Mark Reed out of Round Rock. How does that game last week help prepare you to play an opponent like Steele here this coming Friday?
Well, you hope it does. You know, this kid's a bit unique. He throws the ball as well as anyone. He runs the ball as good or better maybe than anyone. And they've done a nice job of featuring him. They've got plenty of good backs and receivers, no doubt, but they're running it all through him. Mm-hmm. And they're going to put the ball in his hands and allow him to make big plays. So we'll have our hands full. You mentioned it, though, not only last week, but through the years, it seems like more and more, particularly in our district, we're facing this style of quarterback. So it's not our first rodeo, but at the same time, tall order challenge, and I think it'll be a big key to the game.
So we mentioned Martin, and you look at this great run they've had over the past 6 or 7 years. Everybody wants to talk offensive players. Malcolm Brown went on to play at Texas. Tommy Armstrong is still the quarterback right now at Nebraska, both former Steele Knights. But defensively, they've had just as much talent on that side of the football. How do they look to you going into the game Friday?
Well, I think, their defensive tackles stand out, not only their size, but their mobility, and, they're Division I type players. Their 2 safeties stand out, the Stearns kid and the others. They've got talent everywhere. So it's not going to be the type of game where you feel like you can exploit this area, or, hey, we get them here, or they're weak there. There's really not that. You're going to have to execute every play on both sides of the ball and pick your moments. When you get your opportunities, you can't squander them because there won't be a lot of them.
We alluded to some of the battles you've had with Steele over the past several years. This is going to mark the 3rd straight year you're opening district against them.
Yeah.
So as you look at a district opener, it seems to be a different creature than some of the other games. I know each game has its own importance, but how much different is a district opener?
Well, everybody's excited about it. There's always a lot of media attention on it because of the stature of what the programs have achieved in the past. This year, really, in district-wise, none of us have done anything, but so it is big as far as that goes. In an 8-team league, though, this Friday, 4 teams are going to win, 4 teams are going to lose. And that's going to happen every Friday over the next 7 weeks. And so I think you have to be careful about placing more importance on one game than others, because if you win that game, you're liable to flatten out the next week, because that was the big game of the year, so this one's not. You wouldn't say that, but psychologically you'd think that, and you're liable to set yourself up for a fall. Or if you fall short, well, that was the game of the year and we lost it, all is lost. And yet you've got to play again. And so our approach to the game is no different than it has been or will be for the next 7 weeks. But, our kids are smart kids. They know who they're up against, and they know that it is a big game, and we'll be ready.
Well, Smithson Valley hosts Steele at 7:30 this Friday at Ranger Stadium. Live coverage can be heard on rangersnetwork.com, and replay of the game will be available at a watch party this coming Sunday at Max's Roadhouse. So be sure to check that out this coming Sunday to watch the Rangers and the Knights replay on the Rangers Network. You heard Coach Hill mention there are a total of 4 district games coming up here this Friday. So for more on those games and the district picks, we kick things over to Dr. Ferris and Dr. Hembry.
Thanks, guys. I'm Tyler Ferris.
And I'm Megan Hembry.
And we are Ferris Orthodontics. And these are your Week 4 picks of the week.
Line them up.
Okay, my Week 4 first pick. It's the beginning of district play. We've got the Judson Rockets and the New Braunfels Power Ponies. No doubt on this one. Same thing as last year. Power Ponies go down to the Rockets in a bedazzling display of power.
My pick this week is between the Clemens Buffaloes and the East Central Hornets. Sorry, Coach, I know East Central's your alma mater, but I really do think the Buffaloes this year may just stomp on the Little Hornets.
Our Week 4 game of the week, Smithson Valley Rangers hosting the Steele Knights. It'll be a tough game, tough way to open the district. It might get close, but I'm still with Smithson Valley by 14.
I agree. I think we go with the Rangers on this one. Go Rangers.
Go Rangers.
Back to y'all.
Well, once again, Dr. Hembury and Dr. Ferris like Smithson Valley this coming Friday.
Well, I like the way they pick. Seems like they do that every week, and I'm always right in line with their picks.
Well, it is that time of year. District play is upon us. It starts this Friday, 7:30, as Smithson Valley hosts the Steele Knights. And with that, we're going to wrap things up here, but remind you, for anything and everything Rangers, be sure to text the word Rangers to the number 42828, and you'll get email updates on everything Smithson Valley. For Coach Hill, I'm Brant Freeman. This has been Inside Rangers Football. We'll see you next week.